the key topics that we're going to discuss, or as a wrap up that we have discussed last week, are the project management principles, the tools and techniques for formal project management, and of course, when we turn over the whole project or the open run architecture to you, to the engineers that are going to manage the network, you need to have the proper tools to monitor your infrastructure. And then after that, you need to have also a good maintenance system and maybe contracts with your vendors. So all of these things will be discussed in this course. So if I will move along, the syllabus of this course, as we have mentioned, covers actually the rollout of Open RAN mobile network, and you are being introduced to the correct handling of projects involving Open RAN. So my course, as a wrap up again, is composed of 6 modules, and the learnings that you will encounter in Rakuten Learning Hub is normally there is a formal write-up that you will have to read and go over the lectures. And then most of the important topics will be covered by videos. And there are transcripts of that videos in the Rakuten system so that you can review everything that was said in the video afterwards. And then, of course, we also have assessments afterwards. And those assessments are covered by final exam, quizzes, assignments, and projects. I think most of the courses in IORA will be having this format for assessment. So let me just go to the recap. So what we have discussed previously, the most important topic is about project management life cycle. And I would like to share, so that it will not be a monotonous discussion on my part. I will share with you a video that discusses again the whole project management life cycle. So I'll just have to go to the video.
And in this video, we will discuss these stages in detail, including what these stages are and what are the steps taken during these stages. Let us begin with initiation. Business need, problem, or opportunity is identified in this stage. Ways to meet this end, solve this problem, or seize this opportunity are brainstormed. The objective of the project is figured out, feasibility is determined, and major deliverables are identified. Project management steps for the initiation stage include identification of the problem which your project will solve and make it certain whether your project will be able to deliver a solution to that problem. Identification of the scope by defining the depth and breadth of the project. Identification of deliverables by defining the product or service to provide. Identification of the project stakeholders by figuring out whom the project affects and what their needs may be, and development of a business case. You'll also develop a statement of work or a project initiation document at the initiation stage. The statement of work is the document that captures and defines all aspects of your project. You'll note the activities, deliverables, and the timetable for the project. It's an extremely detailed document as it will lay the groundwork for the project plan. Next comes the planning stage. The planning stage comes when the project is approved to move forward on the basis of the statement of work and the business case. In the planning stage, teams are built. The large project is broken down into smaller tasks, and a schedule is prepared for the completion of all the assignments. Smaller goals are created within the larger project so that each goal is achievable within the time frame. Project management steps for the planning stage include identification of the project timeline, the tasks which are to be performed, and the possible constraints. Creation of workflow documents to visualize the project timeline. Estimation of budgets and the creation of financial plans with the help of cost estimates. Gathering resources by building teams and making sure that everyone has the tools required to perform their tasks. Risk anticipation by identifying potential quality roadblocks. It is important to have everything outlined and explained to the team so that the team members can quickly get to the work in the next stage. After planning, we reach the execution stage. In the above two stages, we worked on receiving business approval, developing a plan, and building our team. Now it is time to start working. In this phase, we will turn our plan into action. The project manager makes sure that the work is on track. He organizes team members, manages timelines, and makes sure that the work is done according to the original plan. Project management steps for the execution stage include creating tasks and organizing workflows by assigning granular aspects of the project to the right team members, explaining tasks to team members, providing necessary guidance on how the tasks should be completed, and organizing process-related training if necessary, communicating with team members, clients, and upper management, and providing updates to the stakeholders at all the levels, monitoring quality of work, and managing the budget. And finally, we reach the closure stage. This is a stage where we provide final deliverables, release project resources, and determine the success of the project. In this stage, the project manager also evaluates what did and what did not work with the project. Project management steps for the closure stage includes determining whether the goals of the project were met and whether the initial problem was solved. Evaluation of the team's performance, including whether they were able to meet the goals, along with maintaining the timeliness and quality of the work. Making sure that all aspects of the project are completed, with no loose ends remaining, and providing reports to key stakeholders. Conducting a final analysis of the project, taking into account lessons learned for similar projects in the future. So these were the 4 stages in the project lifecycle, and the different steps taken at each stage. We hope that this video was helpful to you. Don't forget to subscribe for more such videos.
So as you can see in the project management life cycle, we have 5 stages, right? Initiation, planning, execution, and then monitoring, control, and then closing. So it's important to bear in mind that a project is a temporary endeavor, right? It has a closure, and it's an ending cycle. So it's not like operations that it's a continuous cycle. As long as the organization is, I mean, keeps doing business, your operations keeps on moving, and it's the same cycle. But for project management, every project needs to end. And of course, before ending it, you need to understand that all the deliverables that were required by the stakeholders are completed. So under the project management lifecycle, the most important documents that we need to produce after we're done with the planning is the project charter and the project plan. So your project plan will include all the tasks or major tasks that you will have to undergo to complete the project. That's the work breakdown structure. And then you need to come up with a complete schedule or the baseline. And in the schedule, we discuss about critical path. That will be the longest path that will be taken by the project in order to complete it in a specified time. And then we will also define in the project plan how we're going to communicate each status of the project by having a communication matrix on who will receive those status reports. And then what's important is we also need to have a project workbook so that all issues that will be encountered in the project are tracked and will be resolved accordingly. And the closure stage, of course, we'll have to review all the things that were done correctly in doing the project, and those things that did not went smoothly, and we will document them as lessons learned, so that when there are future projects with the same nature, we're able to relate to the previous projects, and we will apply the lessons learned from that previous project to other projects that will be done in the future. So I think there's no question. So let me just go to the other part that I think I did not cover previously. Okay, so the other part of the lesson on 509 is when you go to the modules, you will also encounter the network monitoring system modules. And here you will be taught how to select the monitoring tools that are already available in the market. And you will be uh, given certain testing procedures on how to monitor the Open Run architecture. And then this is the other module that I was talking about that I think I missed out covering, and this is the engineering maintenance system. Because I think there were some other speakers that needs to present last week. I had to cut short my presentation up to the network monitoring system. And I think I missed the 10-minute discussion about this engineering maintenance system. Anyway, the engineering maintenance system is just about service level agreements with your vendors. So when you say service level agreements, this is a complex uh, data-driven default isolation of your ORAN architecture or system once they are turned over to you. So the network support is split into three areas. That would be software, hardware, and spare parts, right? So it's critical that you discuss this with your vendors because when there are critical incidents that will happen in the future that you will not be able to foresee, you must be covered by a contract, and that would have to be very clear with your vendors on what support they will provide to you, because the Open Run architecture would be a complex one. It encompasses many domains, and in doing that, we will have to have a clear contract with your vendors. And part of that contract is, of course, the RMA. So if maybe some of you are already in the industry and maybe familiar with the term, the RMA is the Return Merchandise Authorization. So it's also known as Return Goods Authorization. So this is a process of returning those products that will fail during the duration of the life cycle of your equipment, or it is covered by the warranties, right? Sometimes this is not clearly defined with the vendor, so sometimes it will take time before they're able to produce the equipment that has to replace the defective part. So they will have to stock those equipment or components for you. And that should be covered by the return merchandise authorization embedded in your vendor maintenance contract.
SLA or a service level agreement. A SLA is a contract between a service provider and its customer that documents what service the provider will flourish and defines the service standard the provider is obligated to meet. Why is it important? Service provider needs SLA to help them manage customer expectations and define the severity level and circumstance under which they are not liable for outage or performance issue. Common checklist of SLAs. First, statement of objectives. Second, scope of service to be covered. Third, service provider responsibilities. Fourth, customer responsibilities. Fifth, performance and metrics. Sixth, penalties of contract breach or exclusions. Who needs the SLA? First, network providers. Second, service providers. Third, IT service providers. Fourth, managing service providers. Different type of SLAs. First, customer level. Second, internal level. Third, multi-level. Our experts are just a call away to draft your agreement.
So as you can see, the SLA is just your vendor contract, but in before you sign the contract, you need to have a checklist, right? uh, of the things that needs to be covered by the SLA. So that's an important point that you need to understand when doing your service level agreement with your vendors. By the way, there are also internal service level agreements. For example, with your internal customers. For example, you're in a department providing service to the other department. Sometimes you also define SLAs, but that's a different thing. It's not covered by a contract, but maybe just a KPA that you need to fulfill based on your internal procedures. As we discuss all the modules um, in my course, the next or the last topic that were provided to you, if some of you attended my course, is how do we do the assessment in my project, right? In the in the course for managing and operating Open RAN. So there will be assignments provided. There are graded quizzes. Then there are also projects and the final exam. This is the sample assessment that we have covered previously. One example of the assessment is you will have an activity there wherein you have to go to the project management academy website, and you will have to answer some project management terminology, but this will be in a form of a crossword puzzle. And then another project in my assessment, the assessment that I have prepared, you will have to come up with a project schedule. There will be a work breakdown structure provided to you or the main task. And all of those tasks and subtasks, you will have to plot it in a Gantt chart and come up with a complete baseline for your project schedule.